This is how I built my truck bed drawer storage box. Each design will be different, so I'm not going to give you any of my measurements. If you want to learn more about SketchUp and how to use it, I'll put a link in the description below. By first sketching the design and measuring a lot, you increase efficiency. This is because you can now cut same size pieces all at once, meaning that you only have to set up a fence or saw once every few cuts. I'm very limited in my available tools, so you'll often see me use whatever I have to make straight lines and cuts, and I'm also using a homemade table saw. I know a lot of you will cringe about the safety aspect, but this is what I have to work with now, and everybody's got to start somewhere. Might not look like it on the fast motion clips, but we are aware of the safety issues and we were as careful as we possibly could be. I was trying to use as few sheets OSB as possible, and thus the sketching helped organize my cuts, but I had to be creative in placing of various sheets, as you will later see. The first few minutes is pretty boring as it's just a bunch of measuring, marking and cutting. Some of the video quality might be pretty low as I shot at night and don't have any fancy production equipment. I apologize for that. Sometimes I will have help and sometimes I won't, so you will often see me struggle putting two pieces together without clamps or help. Here I'm starting to assemble the main box. Somehow some of my video went missing, but I did use wood glue on all of the joints and edges. Using a brad nailer, I got the sides of the box on first. A brad nailer really makes a rough assembly much quicker. OSB board splits quite easily as it is the cheapest of materials you can buy. You have to be careful with a nailer and pre-drill all screw holes. Since this will be used as a toolbox and work area, I did not see the need of using high-grade plywood. Putting a generous amount of wood glue on each edge really helps secure this fragile board. I also use quite a thin material. This OSB is only 12mm thick. This is partly to keep the weight down, but also because it was on special at the home center. This did cause some problems later on in the build, as you'll see. This is another sketch of the box design. As you can see, there's an overlap of two differently sized sheets. I cut it this way to use as little sheets as possible and had to make an overlap where one of the drawer compartments come together. Having only 12mm material, it made it quite hard to join these two together as I really only had 6mm to glue, nail and screw them together. In future I might just use a thicker material for the drawer compartments or just double up. The two pieces at this joint wanted to pull away from each other, so I had to find a way to clamp and pull them together while I'm nailing and screwing them to the drawer compartment. After assembling the whole box, just with glue and nails, we started pre-drilling holes and adding screws. I had a whole bunch of drywall screws on hand, and although this is not the best screw to use because they are quite brittle, this is what I ended up using. I also used the electric drill, which is definitely not the best for screwing as it has no clutch mechanism, and you have to be very careful not to split the fragile OSB board. Next I started assembling the drawers themselves. I decided that I'm not even going to use nails and just glue and screw them together, as the drawer is much easier to handle than the big heavy box. I also couldn't find my countersink bit and I had to ream it with a normal drill bit. Again, these are the tools that I have available at this stage. I also thought about adding a sliding system to make the drawers open and close easier, but decided against it as I wanted this build to be as quick and easy and as cost efficient as possible. I also know that in 2 to 3 years time I will have to build a new box when I get a new vehicle. We use this for a plumbing business and we do quite a bit of mileage and generally don't keep a vehicle for longer than 3 years. There are a few designs out there that are way better than mine, way more refined and looks way more professional, but those are generally for private use vehicles and not a construction vehicle that will be banged up pretty quickly. I added a lot of screws to the drawer face as the drawer itself is 2 meters in length and will be quite heavy when full of tools. Time for the finishing touches, and I had some black spray paint lying around the workshop which I ended up using. In the end I really actually like the way the black OSB looks. After using about 5 cans of spray paint, I attached some heavy duty handles. I later also sprayed them black. The fruits of measuring correctly. The box fits perfectly into the back of the vehicle, kinda like it was made for it, because, well, it was. The main idea was to neaten up the back of the vehicle to allow us to load water heaters and solar panels without needing to first tidy up all the tools. Even though the length of the box is 2.4 meters, the drawers themselves is only 2 meters. So in future designs I might just add a cupboard at the back where we can store things that we almost never use but might need in an emergency. Even without a sliding mechanism and even fully loaded with tools, these actually slide in and out quite easily. I think maybe because of the lacquer on the OSB. The wood might wear out over time, but as I said, I don't think I'm going to use this for much longer than 3 years in any case. If it was going to be a more permanent solution, I would spend a lot more time in a sliding mechanism and maybe coating the top with a rubberizing or a more durable coating. This storage box has really made life much easier as you can find tools and fittings way faster than trying to dig through boxes and junk we removed from the site each day. So that's it, quick and easy, and it solves a problem that's been bugging me for years. Thanks for watching Just Random Things. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, please like, share and subscribe. Please also leave comments below and I'll do my best to get to all of them. Cheers for eers.